Hey there, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I went from this to this to this. Now it's very important for you to understand that having a very beautiful YouTube setup is not so much about how much you spend, but about your creativity. In this video I will be showing you how you can actually build a low budget YouTube setup or YouTube studio. Now, like I said earlier, it is very important for you to understand the intricacies of this. First, your space might be different from mine. My space might be different from yours. All right, your skin tone might be different from mine. Mine might be different from yours, and all of this play critical role when it comes to setting up your YouTube. Now, it is very important for you to understand that all of my YouTube setup is not above $100. Now, I say $100 because currently in Nigeria that's about 100 and maybe 70 or 50,000 naira currently, right? So all of my YouTube setup does not really cost that much. All I did was I knew how to actually take advantage of what is available to me and make use of it and actually get what I want. And that's what I want to be showing you in this video. Now, like I said earlier, you need to be very creative. You need to understand, even having showed you all of my YouTube setup and how I'm able to go about it, it's also very important for you to know how you can creatively integrate this into this kind of space you have. All right, I have a very little complex YouTube space, or rather YouTube studio, and I'm able to navigate this. If in the event that I actually grow and I'm using a bigger space, I'm going to actually tweak a little here and there. Now I'm going to run you through a couple of tools that I use and how these lightnings and all that fit into my space. Now, you can see in my screen currently showing is my YouTube setup probably a year or 2 years ago. And of course, growth is understandable, growth is normal, right? And currently, this is my setup. Now, how was I able to actually come up with this setup? First of all, like I said earlier, is creativity. Secondly, is the LED light. The LED light behind me currently was the light I was using before, but I actually did realize that it's not very good enough for my face and the lightning, because the LED light does not come with a box that actually aids disparity of light. You need the light to actually reflect on your face in such a way that there is no background image or there is no shadow cast on your background, except of course if you're using a dark background, right? So I needed the LED light, and that's why you can see that the LED light behind me is only giving a warm light. The LED light can be brighter than anything. It can be brighter than your bulb in your house, but you see, I toned it down in order to just give the background a warm texture. Now, you might not have the LED light, all right? Whatever it is you might have, it works for you. Now, you can see currently on the video that is displaying, or the picture that is displaying on my screen, I use the light. There's this light that is showing on the background, and the light showing on the background is simply a bulb light that I fixed on a lamp holder and kept it behind me such that it reflects on the background and shows a color. Now, another thing that you need to do very well when it comes to creating your studio is that you need to understand the coloring. Now, you can see the background. My background is currently white. Now, there are 3 colors that I would advise that you use when talking about your background. One is white, the second is gray, and the third is black. Now, these 3 colors are very important. Now, when you're using a white background, you have to make sure that almost everything on your background reflects white or complements the color. That's because you do not want so much distraction on your background. You can see on my background, I only have the LED light that is very warm, a light behind me that is showing also a warm light from behind, and of course, the light by my right hand side. And these are all intended, and of course, the flower vase that is behind me. This is all very practical. The aim is simple: not distract the audience too much. You don't want to have so much going on in your background that people lose focus of the video itself that you're shooting, focusing on your background. 2, you have to use a black background if what you have probably some gadgets and all that are black or whatever. You use a black background such that when people view your video, it's majorly focused on your face. Now, a black background is usually important, especially for people who have very little gadget or little to spend here and there. That way, your background is dark. You turn off all the lighting in your house, and then you make sure that everything is focused on you. Now, this is what it looks like when I'm shooting without my lights. And you can see clearly that there is the lightning behind me and it's showing visibly. But if I had a black background, it will be very clear and very visible, and it will even look more beautiful. So I will need very little to no lightning on my face to actually have illumination. But because I have a white background which is reflective, every light that hits on a white background bounces back. So I need a good light on my face that can reflect it. But if you're using a black background and you do not have so much gadget to spend, I would advise that you use a black background such that, you know, little lightning on your face and your video is beautiful and good to go. And if you have a very little coloring light on the back, it shows more if you're using a black background. Now, another thing you need to take note of is the warm light that is behind me. Now, there's a blue light behind me. Now, that blue light is not the very much expensive one that is sold out there. The professional one is sold for close to 75,000 naira. That's about $75. Now, I thought to myself, how can I actually creatively create one for myself? Very simple. So what I did was, I actually got the normal decor lights that you see on the street, and I used a tape to actually bind it around a curtain hanger and then fixed it on my wall. And you can see currently it does the job of any light that I will buy out there on Gigi, on Jumia, on Amazon, or whatever, right? It does the work. So all you have to do is to get, you know, the normal decor light that they sell out there. It's very cheap. I think I got this light for 3,000 naira or so when I bought it, or 4,500 naira thereabout. It's actually measured in in centimeters. So you just buy the centimeter that fits whatever it is you're doing. Excuse me, and that's about it. So I bought it, and then I wound it around a window hanger, and then that's it. Boom, on my background, looking very beautiful. And nobody actually knows that if I'm not telling you. The next thing is the warm light that is showing right behind me. I probably shift so you see it, right? So that light is a simple ring light. And mind you, when I started my journey on YouTube, that was the light I was using on my face. But as I grew further, I started realizing, okay, how can I, you know, tweak this and this and this? And I figured the ring light can actually change color. So I put it on, I changed it to the warm light, and I reduced the brightness so that it just shows some form of warmth on my background. So this reflects on my face, all right, you know, and the other reflect on my background, and it just gives some form of beauty to the background. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is the softbox, the light that is in front of me. Now, if you do not have a softbox, it's understandable. All you have to do is to use a ring light like I used to before, or you use a natural lightning. Natural lightning works, but one thing you have to realize is that if you're using a natural lightning, most definitely you have to stay in front of your window, right? You cannot block off the lights in your house. If you're using any form of artificial lightning, most definitely you have to turn off your light, and your background needs to be dark. So only the lights you're using would be reflective. Now, there is a window blind behind me. There is a window behind me. Now, even with the window blind that is behind me, I had to block off the lightning coming from the window using a carton. If you're Nigerian, you understand. I just had to cut pieces of carton and closed the window behind the window blind, such that the reflection of light does not come through. Because once there's a reflection coming from behind, it deters this lightning coming on my face, and then there's just going to be some form of lightning dispersed here and there. All right, so if you do not have money to get a soft box, which I am using and showing you right now, you can just simply buy, or rather use the natural lighting, or use a ring light. All right, guys, this is about my setup. And of course, my mic is a simple mic that I use. I got this mic for including delivery, it was 75,000 naira. And it's not so much, you can see, very, very simple and straight to the point. You just have to connect it, and it's attached to my table. So once I'm done using it, I can just, you know, fold it back and then use my table the way I want it to. And once I need to use it, I just pull it back and I make use of it. So that's that about my setup, guys. Tell me what you think about my setup in the description, in the comment section, and tell me what you think what you want to do with your setup, and how you think I can be of help. All right, guys, cheers.